for Handloom Day in 2016. So Smriti Rani tweeted a thank you note for me for supporting the handloom industry wearing that sari. So that was like the highlight of me getting recognized by someone known as that Smriti Rani. That was my high point in my handloom journey.
Hello everyone, my name is Nikitaa Bhardwaj. Today I'm here on behalf of Youth Take Lead, an initiative by Sattviki Eco. Today I'm being joined by one of the Indian handloom experts. She has spent a major part of her life till now researching and spreading awareness about the Indian handlooms and keeping it alive. Today I'm very excited to have with me Mrs. Deepa Kulkarni. Hello ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on a day that's very close to my heart. I'm really honored and thrilled to be a part of this.
Thank you so much. You have spent a major part of your life researching about the Indian handloom. So when exactly were you intrigued by the Indian handlooms?
So, it goes back a very long way to my childhood. Before, my father was actually a banker who used to finance small scale industries, of which handlooms were a part of. So we used to travel to these handloom locations, like I've been to Chanderi and places where Chanderi sarees are made, and Maheshwari, and to other places like Pochampalli and all, where I've actually gone and seen these handloom clusters. And I think from that point in time, I was very intrigued by the way they wove, the loom machine and how they wove it with their hands, and how the saris were created from mere strands of thread. And that kind of piqued my interest a great deal. And my mom was always very interested in getting herself educated about, the history of the handloom, etc. So that's where this interest began. And when I moved back to India in 2007, and you know, I was more intrigued by the handlooms and everything local. And that's when it was just, my interest got rekindled, and I was kind of enjoying myself. Going around, looking around in hearts and melas, looking for stuff and talking to the weavers and buying directly from the source. That was my incentive, and that was what again rekindled my interest.
That's
in
great.
buying handlooms.
Yeah, that's amazing. What are the initiatives that you've undertaken to keep the handloom tradition alive?
I think the initiatives I've taken are all on a personal level, right? So what I do is when I go to the melas, right, I make sure that I buy directly from the people who are creating the craft, in the sense that, kind of, for example, and I go and buy directly from them. And what when that happens, what happens is you're actually the money is entirely going to the person who's responsible for creating and marketing this weave. There is no middleman involved. Uh, the other aspect of this, the other initiative that I take is that I'm trying to go entirely handloom. So it's not just about saris. Like what I'm wearing today is a dress, a Western dress that's made from a handloom fabric, and prints are also customized, and they're also hand block printed. So it's not just about handloom, but everything that's an art in itself, right? And uh, what I feel is limiting handloom to saris, as is the case, limits the scope of the handloom industry as well.
Right.
And in order to sustain the handloom industries, it's not just about the saris, it's about everything else, including the dresses that you wear, including the blouses, everything.
Right.
I take their numbers, etc., and then I start ordering directly from them. So these are some on a personal level, and I have a group of friends who are also into this kind of thing. So we tell each other about our sources and we buy from those sources. So that way, even during the pandemic, we've been buying handlooms online, and they've been delivered also on time.
That is so amazing. I'm very curious to know what are your favorite handloom designs, and if you could share some story about it.
Okay, so since ever since I've been a child, the one handloom that I've always been hearing about, and being a South Indian, is the Kanjivaram, because it's ubiquitous in every South Indian lady's trousseau, right? The other thing is a Mysore silk, which again I'm very partial to, because I'm originally from Karnataka. So and then the Ilkan, which is also again from Karnataka, the Pochampalli, which is my absolute favorite, because I not only wear the cotton saris, but I also buy Pochampally handlooms from their weavers cooperative, and it gives me a great sense of satisfaction because I'm wearing something that is close to my roots, and at the same time that has been hand woven, and a person has put his heart and soul into creating that particular piece of fabric or that sari. So that is my these are my favorite weaves. But of late, of course, a lot of other weaves have also come, which I've become aware about, like the Kaziranga weave from Assam. So one of my favorite saris is the Kaziranga weave sari, which I've shared the picture of it too. And in fact, the sari that I wore for Handloom Day in 2016. So Smriti Rani tweeted a thank you note for me for supporting the handloom industry wearing that sari. So that was like the highlight for me, getting recognized by someone known as the Smriti Irani. That was my high point in my handloom journey.
That is so amazing. What are the ways in which one can adopt handloom products in their daily lives?
So, like I said, not just saris, your blouses, your kurtas, your dresses. You can get Western dresses stitched out of them. You can get uh, pants made out of them because the pants are super comfortable, handloom pants. Not only that, you can go beyond that. The tablecloths, the table mats, the runners, bed sheets, bed linen. So everything can be handloom. So you can truly have a 100% handloom lifestyle if you want to, because people are creating awareness about it, and people are also making things keeping that lifestyle in mind. Because
Right.
handloom is very sustainable because it uses all organic. I mean, it's all organic products. For example, the dyes are vegetable dyes. The clothes are usually cotton or silk, which are again natural. It's not man-made. So you can incorporate handloom in every aspect of your life, and the industry is also growing in such a way that you have more avenues thanks to online marketing. So it's a much larger playing field right now. So there's
Right.
a lot of scope for the industry to grow because now it's entirely a global market that they're catering to.
Right.
So it has a lot of ways that it can grow, and it has a lot more scope to grow even more.
That's something really nice. In today's age, when people prefer wearing, luxury branded clothes or, machine-made clothes, how tough is it to keep the tradition of handloom alive?
So machine-made clothes are obviously mass manufactured, and they are much cheaper, right? It's more. It takes a lot more time to weave a handloom fabric as opposed to a machine-made fabric. But the children these days, the youngsters these days, they're also getting more aware of the handloom initiatives, and their Western wear may be machine-made, but the rest of the stuff, for example, they're preferring to have their Indian clothes made out of handlooms, whether it's silk, whether it's cotton. Like my daughter, for example, she's 19. So she does make a conscious effort by going forward and buying handlooms only. Like she makes sure that the product is handloom before she buys it. So I think if each teenager starts doing this, and each youngster starts doing this, then you know what? We'll have an entire generation that is very proud of its culture and heritage, the handloom culture and heritage.
Right.
So I am pretty sure that the day is not far off when it'll be a very viable industry too, where people get the dues, the weavers get the due as well, and we have satisfied customers as well. The government does need to take a bit more initiative in easing restrictions on getting the supplies and the raw materials for the handloom industry.
Right. Last question for you today would be, what would you like to say to the young generation who's interested in this field of handloom?
Try to educate yourself more on the history of handloom industry in the country, and try to familiarize yourself with uh, all the handlooms in the region that you're traveling to. For example, if you're going to Odisha, right? So the ikat in Odisha is very, very popular. The Sambalpuri ikat is very well known. So try and go and discover about the ikat there. If you go to Hyderabad, go and try to find out about the ikat in the industry in Hyderabad, Telangana region, that is Pochampalli, and find out how it's different from the Sambalpuri ikats. Like you have every Sambalpuri ikat, Patan ikat from Gujarat, the Patan Patolas, and the Pochampallis. They're all ikat, but they have very different and typical designs that are very characteristic of their region. So try to find out what is different, how the technology in creating the weave is different, and try to familiarize yourself with a lot of there are a lot of weaves that are being revived right now. So go on the net, find out about these weaves. For example, we have the Gunbi weave, which is a tribal weave from Goa, which was not available at all. When I went to Goa a few years back and I looked around and people weren't aware of it. But now, thanks to a noted professor, he decided to revive the weave, and you get those. And there are some. It's not being woven in Goa now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's woven in Tamil Nadu. But the weave has been revived. Same is the case with weaves like Patta the Anchu from Karnataka and all, which are revival weaves. So try to revive weaves that have kind of that have been lost by doing research on all those things.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of information available now, given that it's a Google age. So, right, when you go to Kanjivaram, right, places like Babusha and all. So those people are originally from Gujarat. They are selling Kanjivarams, but you cannot even tell that they're Gujaratis until they tell you about their history. So try to go and find out, where their family came from, how they got into the trade, etc. That way, it's very, very important to know the history, the culture, and the sentiment behind the weave as well.
Because every place would have its own story, and because India is a country full of stories and cultures and traditions.
For example, there is this place called Mangalgiri, which has a lot of cotton and silk cotton weaves in, and Mangalgiri is in Andhra Pradesh. And there is a Narasimha Swami temple right next to it. So the legend has it, every time you take darshan of the temple, you need to go and buy a sari from that place. That's like, considered a tradition. Even if you don't like it, try to incorporate handloom in your wardrobe, mainly to give livelihood to the people who are creating this art. Because in Andhra Pradesh, for example, when I was studying, there were a lot of Padmashalis who were studying along with me. And Padmashalis are the local weaving community, right? And a lot of them left their trade because there was no money in it. And now all of them are coming back to fund the trade, because they've all become IT employees, and they've made a lot of money, and they're coming back because now again there's an interest in handlooms, right? So they've come back and they're funding the growth of that particular industry, the weave. So do something like that for the handloom industry from wherever you're from or wherever you're living at.
That's so nice. I think that's the end of the question that I have. It was really wonderful talking to you. It's very informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you as well. And I had a great time. And, I hope that you guys do try to keep the tradition of, a handloom alive, and it shouldn't kind of get lost in the way because of the brands that are mass manufacturing fast fashion. Okay.
Thank you.